When one person has the courage to live more authentically, it can remind someone else that there's another life that is possible for them too.
Welcome to And Then I Did This. Prepare to be inspired as we celebrate the unique journeys of individuals who've had the courage to break free and live life on their own terms. Their lives prove that you truly can be free to live your best and most authentic life. Let's get to it. Welcome to the show. Today I have a special guest. Edith Vincent is a former police officer turned hypnotherapist. After years of living in high-performance, high-stress environments, she stepped away from her career in policing and now supports people moving out of survival mode into a more grounded, aligned, and embodied way of living through one-on-one sessions, group experiences, and transformational events. Edith, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me over. I think it's beautiful what you're doing, and we need more of you inviting us into your space. So thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And I mirror that back to you with what you're choosing to do. Walk us through your journey, how you got to this point, where you started, and what made you pivot, and anything else you'd like to share.
Okay, super. Thank you. So I'm a hypnotherapist, a meditation teacher. I do also yin yoga as a teacher, and I do sound healing as well, based near Montreal. So I do a lot of things, but it's all tools to get in touch with our body, the somatic. But I think that the deeper truth about me is that I always been someone searching for meaning, belonging, and a real understanding of why we're here, why I'm here. For much of my life, I felt different. I often felt as though I was trying to understand where I belonged and how I could become a part of something like meaningful. So that led me eventually to being a police officer, which I love. I was looking for structure, unity, purpose, and a way of contributing. And I really wanted to help people. And I believe that becoming a police officer would allow me to make a real difference. That career taught me a lot about human beings. I saw people in moments of fear, trauma, crisis, survival, and a lot of vulnerability. But over time, I realized that I didn't truly believe in the way that the system was trying to create in the change. So I didn't really want to intervene with people who were already in crisis. I wanted to understand what was underneath that behavior, their suffering and their survival responses. I wanted to help people reconnect with their own power rather than feeling controlled by the power and or defined by what happened to them, you know? So my own life eventually brought me into that work personally. So I experienced myself trauma, anxiety, health challenges, nervous system dysregulation like crazy, major changes, and periods where I no longer recognize the life that I've built. So meditation, hypnosis, plant medicine, breath work, sound bath, and body-based healing become ways to come back to myself. Today, my work, my purpose is about creating spaces where people don't have to perform, prove anything, or force like themselves to heal. That is not why I'm doing this. It's help to help people understanding their inner world, feel safer into their bodies, and reconnect with the parts of themselves that maybe were being abandoned in order to survive. Yeah. I also share my story because I believe that our truth can become a form of permission. When one person has the courage to live more authentically, it can remind someone else that there's another life that is possible for them too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's so beautiful. Ah, so the journey from going down one path to another. Talk a little bit about how you, I'm assuming, and I shouldn't assume, I should ask you how you prepared yourself to be able to step out and do what you're doing, because I think that fear from what I hear from people when I get newsletter signups, and people will fill out the little survey there, they'll say, afraid I might not make it, afraid I won't be able to make money. How did you walk through that, and how did you manage that transition?
Yeah, so very, very great question. So I wouldn't recommend it to people the way I did it because it was like really sudden and like at that time my brain, my subconscious mind was like, this is the way and there's no other way. But I would recommend that it's more like a nervous system regulation first and then you go. So it wasn't one perfect moment where I was like, oh, it's really clear. It's more like life began dismantling the version of me that could no longer continue. So at different points, I experiences that I it's experience career losses, car accident, physical and mental exhaustion, anxiety, health issues, and nervous system symptoms. It wasn't like, oh, I can continue. It was like, bam, you cannot, and this is your new life. So my body was expressing what I had been trying to push away, like mentally. For a long time, my way of functioning was like to keep moving, stay responsible, work harder, and find the next solution. But eventually, I reached a point where pushing through was no longer strength, it was self-abandonment. So I began to realize that I didn't simply need a different job. It was more like I needed a different relationship with myself and life, which is totally different. There was a very strong urge for me to live differently. At first, I responded to that urge really quickly. I made major changes. I travel. I left my family structure and I tried to create a new life. So I moved to Mexico. I left really fast my job. But that was like I didn't leave the police work for like 2 years. There was like this in between. But some of those decisions were really necessary. But I also learned that changing your environment doesn't automatically transform everything around you, inside of you, because you carry yourself wherever you go.
Exactly. Yeah, there's that saying, no matter, wherever you go, there you are. Because, sometimes environmental changes can make you look at things differently. And I'm sure it helped facilitate a little bit of, oh, I'm out of my, say comfort zone. People say that once you get out of it, you realize it wasn't all that comfortable, or we were trying to get out of it, but it makes you look at things differently. But you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So different environment, but just different like people, but that were pushing the same emotional button, you know?
Yeah, different scenery. Yeah, different scenery, different people, same issues surfacing, right?
Like the real new path began when I stopped asking the question, where should I go next? And more like what life is trying to teach me here. So the courage was came partly from reaching a place where staying the same was more painful than facing the unknown. So it was like, yeah, it changed really suddenly, but the inner change was longer. But it also came through small moments of trust, very small. Every time I listened to myself, told the truth, set a boundary, allow myself to rest, or choose something aligned instead of something familiar, like I strengthened that courage.
You know, it's interesting thinking back to what you said earlier around working harder, pushing through, just, you know, so many of us, I did the same thing. So many of us think that's just what I need to do. And then things will be okay, or things will change, or whatever it is. And those are just the steps to burnout. I mean, I think the statistics around burnout, if you look on LinkedIn, that the topic around toxic work environments and toxic leaders and burnout, you know, and I think even our generation that's coming into potential, like what we would consider work years, like they're rejecting the way of being that former generation, which I love. Personally, I love it. I was a millennial advocate. Now I'm an advocate for this new generation
Me too.
because they're
I
just
love
not,
them.
they're just,
Yeah.
they're not just swallowing it hook, line, and sinker. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it because everything that the other generation put in, they're like, yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna come in whenever I want. But it's all of them, so they don't have the power over them. So I really like it. And it's like I have a lot of clients that comes in and they're like, I have the tools. I know what to do. I know yoga, I know breathing, I know meditation, I know everything, but there's like this, like the resistance is telling me, no, you can't. You need to continue, because if not, everything's gonna collapse. So we need to like understand that calm is not linked to lose everything. It's quite the opposite. It's giving you clarity, it's changing your, we've seen that with Joe Dispenza. Like it's gaining perspective, it's gaining momentum, it's gaining like clarity. But if your brain doesn't and body doesn't feel safe to go that direction, you will go to the familiar hell.
Oh, and so many people are struggling with that. So when people come to you, like, what is how do you figure out and determine what is the natural best next step for them?
So basically, it's really interesting how it works, because it's not me that knows what they are going through or the direction. It's more like through the conscious and subconscious work. What I need to say is that I don't go like really in those really like deep parts of the subconscious mind. It's more like, okay, how I feel is so uncomfortable that I'm at the end of my belief and the way that I used to think and make choice. So I'm at that point of, I'm already in the process and I just need a space where it can emerge. So it's really interesting because I don't really need to do anything, just allow and be present. And there's like this really intelligent inside of us, we all know it, that it's just emerging and then you get the answer. And sometimes I don't have any, how we say that, I don't know, I know it in French but nothing in English, but I don't put pressure on things to come out, because I know when they are ready they're gonna come out. And like, yeah. And for some people it's more like trusting the timing of your life. So if the answers are not there yet, it's because what you need to work is to self-regulate, is to find roots, patience, and then you cannot like and become like elevate yourself if you're not rooted in yourself. So it's more like it depends on everyone, and there's like very precious insights that I get, but at the same time my goal is for people to be their own insight, not outside of yourself. So I'm more into like, what do you think? What do you think? And then if they don't have their answer, it's okay. I will ask the question that will make sense at some point.
Yes. Well, I think so many of us need a safe container where we're not, because we get in our head. I actually shared this suggestion with someone the other day that I was just talking with them, as someone I see on a regular basis just on where I live. And they were saying they had this like loop of thoughts, like I don't know why I'm having these negative thoughts. And on my just quick help on the spot, just from my coaching background, was like, write it down on a piece of paper, break the cycle. And if you can see it on paper, it can at least help break the cycle. But when you have a person who can create that safe space, you're not alone, and you are committed to do something about it. Because I just think back to also what you had said about trying to, I don't want to say like avoid, but trying to work through in spite of the messages that were coming. You were getting the whispers. You're not on your right path. You need to make a change. This isn't what you're meant to do. And we try to ignore that until we can't, partly because we're on a certain path and we don't know, we can't see, but our higher self, the source that's guiding our paths, like knows. We just have to be willing to listen. And someone like you can create that safe space for someone who's tried all the things. They know, as you said, the yoga and the meditation and the things to do, but independently, they just need someone else to be there and hold that space for them.
Yeah. Yeah, mirror them. Like, I think that how you're with a good hypnotherapist or someone who can really help you is just their presence. They have this ability to just mirror back what you said in other words so you understand, but it's all from you. That's it.
Can you do this? Like, do you do it only in person, or do you also do it via Zoom or over the phone?
I do it via Zoom. Yes, I do it via Zoom. And I do it on like in person, like very near here, but I know that there's something really precious about being online. There's more possibility and it's really working the same. And you get to stay with the recording of the session so you can re-listen to it after when you need it.
Oh, that's so
Thank you
good.
for
That's so
asking.
good.
Yes,
Yeah.
very good.
So I guess, talk a little bit about kind of like what are some of your, I guess, your favorite parts of what you do, and what are some of the kind of lessons even that you've learned now that you've been doing this for a while that would be interesting or helpful that, someone who has never done what you're doing would even know.
Yeah, okay. So what I love the most is seeing people. I think that I went to a retreat 2, 3 weeks ago where I was leading the voice and the music. And I was like, I feel that I'm a inner child activator. So I bring her with me and then we play and then people are like activating their own inner child. So it's really good to see them like allowing their inner child to just have fun, and then it's contagious and then we have fun and we laugh and it's not that serious, and like sing with me and and I do also a voice activation like sessions. So like what is your relationship with your voice, with your truth, how to connect with the past, yeah, and to just change the story, and then like how like our voice is our essence. It's very unique. So we're in this era that we need colors. We need less of yeah, I love ChatGPT. I really love it. It's like a really amazing tool. But we're in this era that we need like true colors and more humanity, more warmth. So that's what I love, is to see people revealing and understanding what it is their purpose, what they came here to do, because we all know it. It's just like resistance is there and it's okay. And but I love seeing them like just having, "Oh, okay, now I understand," haha moments. And I just love to see like people allowing themselves to be themselves, like to understand and accept themselves. And I'm in love with me in that process as well, because it hasn't been easy, an easy path, in a sense that following that purpose is not always like, oh yeah, it's gonna be good and everyone's gonna like it. You really need to believe in yourself and to push through, even if no one is seeing you or like or giving you good feedback. You just need to believe that you're there, you're already there. Okay. So, and then I'm going to tell you about the biggest challenges and obstacle, because I think we need to understand that maybe people watching will feel that there's some part that it's going to resonate. So my biggest challenge is to learn that freedom doesn't mean constantly reinventing my life. So for a long time, movement felt like freedom, traveling, different direction, beginning again and again, and following new experiences helped me discover parts of myself. Good, yes, amazing. But I also learned that sometimes we can use movement to avoid fully landing. Yeah. So over the past few months, because we met like few months ago, and so I've been learning how to build roots while remaining free. So I opened my own hypnotherapy office. I invested in my business. I began creating more consistent offering, leading group meditation, facilitating sound bath, and like a lot of collaboration, developing workshops, and like really building a real community around my work. But those things required a different type of courage than leaving, because I'm so used to leaving. Leaving asks you to leap, and building asks you to stay. And another major challenge has been the pressure to prove myself. Okay, so I grew up with strong values about responsibility, stability, having money saved, and avoiding unnecessary risk and creating a respectable life. When I hear that, I'm like police officer. Those values aren't bad. They taught me discipline and responsibility, but I also internalized the belief that my worth came from productivity, achievement, and being able to handle everything myself. Even after leaving policing, I would recreate the same internal structure in being an entrepreneur. So that has been a really like big, I realize that the true work isn't only changing careers, it's changing the inner voice that says you must like do something to deserve your space. And I'm learning right now that success builds through nervous system, no, successes that were built through a nervous system survival doesn't feel like success. So you can be really successful, having a lot of clients and making money, but feeling so disconnected from yourself. And like I want really to people to understand that life it's not loops, but you're coming back into the same pattern with another type of consciousness. So don't feel that, okay, you're over it and then you're never going back there. That's so not true, because you're eventually going to go back there, but it's going to be easier to see it and to change route and make better decisions. But this year I felt that I came back into this like disconnection and like doing a lot of clients, but slowly disconnected from my body. But it doesn't make sense. You don't do that. Both of them needs to be together. So I also face self-doubt for sure, and financial and uncertainty for sure. People not always understanding my path, that is okay. And the fear that I made the wrong decision and that my parents were right. But it's okay. Fear can be there. She's always with me. It's just she's not taking the she's not taking the wheel.
At the driver's seat. Yeah, not in the driver's seat. Yeah, I just say all of those false beliefs. I know, SLBs, self-limiting beliefs, they're always there. It's a matter of taming them and recognizing them as they come up. Thank you, not today. you know, and because we all face them, it doesn't matter what level of success or how, just as you said, like you've stepped out now into your own modalities and helping people find themselves and just reconnect with themselves. And so it's learning the skills that can help, as we, that phrase of the layers of the onion, those things, those beliefs that we have that are so deep seated will try to sprout again, and then we have to just put it to the side, like, no, not, and just keep replacing it and keep going on our path. But it's, as you said, it's cyclical. So we keep growing and expanding, what we're doing. I mean, I just found the other day I was having to find an old email address. It was the first business that I had really started when I left my ad agency role in New York City in 2015. And it was mindfulbusiness.guru. And I was on this mission because I was a millennial advocate. I had written Millennial 101 and, to help leaders understand how to engage with millennials, because I had great success with that in the roles I had been in. And so I had to find the email address so I could reset, something online. And I realized like how many like iterations I have even gone through myself from that point of leaving. And I think I just knew I wasn't meant to. I've always been a bit independent and just didn't. The corporate game, I could play it really well and I succeeded. But to your point, my own version of not feeling I was on the right path and kept getting, nudges here and there that this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. And then we listen and we take the steps. And to your earlier point, also, it isn't always crystal clear. The clarity comes when we start taking the steps, even the small steps, even if it's a big step. I'm moving to Mexico and I'm leaving this old life behind, because there were lessons you learned with that you wouldn't have learned otherwise had you just stayed right where you were. So it's a matter of us really just listening to ourselves and engaging with other people like yourself who can help hold a container and be a mirror for someone who they're at that point where they maybe tried everything they knew, therapy, the meditation, all the tricks, and haven't been able to break through to where they should be, feel like they're meant to go, right?
True that I have a lot of people coming and they're like, I did everything. I went to see the doctor. I read the book. I did everything and it's not working. And we just understand that because it's not outside, it's not the outer authority that has that power. It's within you. It's a new way of connecting with your power.
Yeah, it's an inside job. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
Ah, so I would say I'm going to make sure that everything is in the show notes. But if people want to connect with you, we'll verbally say it, and then I'll put the links below. How can people connect with you?
So I have a website. It's Edith Vincent Hypno.ca. I'm gonna send it to you. I have like Instagram, Facebook, even my cell phone. I can give it to you, and they can ask me questions, and we can know if it's aligned the work and if you feel connected. I would be honored to accompany more people that feel that they are transitioning right now. Yes.
So good. Do you do your group meditations? Do you do those through Zoom yet, or are those more in person at this point?
It's more in person. I have it on online on Facebook, but the thing is that it's in French. Yeah.
Oh, well, for those
Yeah. Yes.
listeners, they're,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I give it one.
Oh,
But I could do it if someone asked me. It would be an honor to guide them in English as well on Zoom.
yeah. I think I'm getting ideas that are, yeah, coming through me to suggest, yeah, to you. Oh, so beautiful. So what final, I guess, parting words or words of advice would you give to someone who might be in their own version of where you were as a police officer back in the day, and they're just not sure? They know something's off, but they're just afraid they can't reinvent themselves, or they don't know what they would do. What advice would you give them?
That's a great question. So you do not need to destroy your entire life to begin to listening to yourself. Sometimes we imagine that following our truth involve one dramatic leap, but often your new path begins with one honest decision. So one conversation, one application, one class, one boundary. 1 hour a week devoted to what makes you feel alive. You also don't need complete confidence before you move. Confidence is often the result of keeping small promises to yourself. I would encourage people to distinguish between fear and alignment and misalignment. Fear doesn't always mean no. Fear means like sometimes this matters to me, but I don't know who I will become if I choose it. But I would say don't romanticize the leap. Give yourself time, create support, understand your finances, care for your body, let the dream become grounded enough to hold you. Courage and responsibility doesn't have to oppose one another. And most importantly, don't wait until everyone understands. Some people can only understand the version of you they already known. Your responsibility is to remain recognizable and to remain connected to your what is true for yourself.
That's so true. So good. Yeah. Yeah. We don't have to have it all figured out. And you're right. Fear is sometimes just that nudge we need that's like, you're still alive. And you just, it's that, those sayings, you can face everything and rise, or, do the opposite and feel everything and run in the other direction. But better to just do our best. That I think the worst that someone can do is, if we look at the lives of those who are at the end of their life, those who would say, oh, the regrets are, I wish I would have, or I wonder what would have happened if I would have done that thing, or whatever that thing is, rather than just staying where people are at. Feel bright. The worst thing you can do is learn a lesson, and it doesn't turn out exactly how you thought it would, but you'll find a new path, right?
Always. Yeah. I remember one of my clients, she was like asking herself, like, where should I go? Should I prioritize studies, relationship, or myself? And the brain, I didn't even do anything. She was like, okay, where should I go? There was 3 sticks with 2 letters each. And then I was like, do you know what they mean? Relationship, work, and studies. And she was like, I don't know where to go. And her brain said, like, it doesn't matter. Anywhere you go, you're gonna get through it. You're gonna get to the right place. The only thing you need to do is like listen and be aware of your thought. And she went through, it was really interesting because the leap was really scary for her because she felt that she was like going like this. I don't know how to say it in English. Like diving. Yeah. And I said, what can you do that is less like scary for your brain? Like the movement of falling is really like oh intense. So her brain told her, okay, you just need to move it like this. So she's going through it instead of taking a leap like this. So it's a different movement, but it's the same thing. So this is like really like an image, but for her, she integrated it. And it was amazing. It was amazing. She was only 18. She was super, super, super young. She came back and she didn't really understood what happened like consciously, but I knew that the unconscious worked with her. So sometimes we need to understand that there is like this intelligence that is guiding us, and we don't need to overthink it. It's the universe guides us, and it's helping us through the process. We just need we if we believe that, we're gonna see it, but if we don't believe that, it's still there, but you just don't see it.
Exactly. And just to be able to tap into it. Oh, so good. Thank you so much for all the wisdom and all the guidance and advice. And again, anyone listening that would like to get some clarity with someone who would be a safe person, Edith's your person. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I really love your insights, the way you are listening, truly present. This is a gift, really, for us.
Oh, thank you. And that's a wrap on another episode of And Then I Did This, celebrating the lives of those who've walked away from the beaten path to pursue work and a life that nourishes their soul. If you're feeling inspired and ready to explore your own path to freedom, check out youcanbefree.life, where you'll find resources and support to help you break free and live life on your own terms. See you next time.